My name is Miss Nancy, and here we are today at Grow with Miss Nancy. If you remember, things are getting exciting now with Paul, because last week what happened was the plot that the 40 men who had vowed they would not eat or drink until they killed Paul, it got foiled. That means it did not work out for them at all, because remember, Paul's nephew heard about it and he told, and everything got worked out so that Paul got out of town with all those soldiers. So now he's sitting in a prison with where Governor Felix lives, and Felix is trying to figure out, so what's with this guy? I mean, what's everybody all upset about? So he said, okay, well, I'll let you out of prison and we'll have a meeting once all your accusers come. Well, it took a few days, but here shows up the Jewish leaders with the lawyer, and the lawyer says, well, you know, what Paul was doing was he was trying to ruin the temple and he was starting riots all over the world. But when Paul talked about his side, he said, none of that is true. I brought money for the poor people in Jerusalem to try to help them out, and I came to worship at the temple. All those other guys started the riot. It wasn't me. I was just there. And that's the truth. Well, Governor Felix didn't know what to think. He couldn't see that there was a real problem either way, but he said, I think I want somebody else to help me with this. So later, he brought his wife in, and he pulled Paul out of prison, and so his wife could hear about it. And when his wife was there, she thought, there's nothing to this either. But see, what truly was going on was Governor Felix was hoping, you know, Paul had said he brought this money to Jerusalem, so he was hoping that Paul would give him a bribe for letting him out of prison. Now, what in the world is a bribe? A bribe is when you give money to somebody in hopes that they will do something for you. So Governor Felix was hoping that Paul would give him money so that Governor Felix could let Paul out of prison. But Paul's an honest man. He's not going to do that. He realizes, I don't need to bribe this guy. God's protected me. Forget that. No way. No matter what happens, whatever happens, happens to me, but I'm not bribing you. That's the right way to be, isn't it? To be an honest person. That's how God wants us to be. He wants us to be honest. He doesn't want us to be thinking that maybe we could protect ourselves. Stop and think. You might say, well, why didn't God just work it out so that Paul would get out of prison right there? If Paul were to be let out of prison right there, what would happen with those guys who had vowed they would kill him? They would do their best. And where would the protection come from? Who would be protecting Paul? Maybe nobody could. But this way, God's protecting him, right? So Paul being honest and not providing the bribe was exactly the right thing to do. And God wants us to be honest too. And that leads us to our big idea for today. God wants us to be honest no matter what might happen if we're honest. I'm so glad you came today. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye.